One.
Good afternoon. It is 5:21 p.m. The regular meeting of the Board of Trustees of San Elizario I.S.D. held this December 9, 2020 is now called to order. Ms. Hernandez, can you roll call, please?
Hi, I'm sorry. I'm having issues with my computer. Present is Mr. Eduardo Chavez, Ms. Sandra Licon, myself, Jorge Hernandez, Ms. Becky Romero, I believe.
Yes.
And absent Mr. Madrid and Ms. Garcia. I believe she'll join us in a bit.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Ms. Hernandez. We'll now proceed with the script. On March 16th, Governor Greg Abbott granted a request for Attorney General Ken Paxton to temporarily suspend a limited number of open meetings laws to the extent necessary to allow telephonic or video conference meeting in response to the coronavirus. In accordance with those suspended rules, we certify the following. Notice of this meeting has been posted online for at least 72 hours. Although members of the board are not gathered in a central physical location, we do have a quorum in attendance at this meeting by telephone call and internet access. We are meeting by use of both telephone call, online access, and through use of an email link for questions. If a member of the public submitted written comments in advance, the board president or a member of the administration will read the comments into record before or during the board's consideration of that item. If you would like to provide comment at a future meeting conducted by video conference or telephone call, please follow instructions on the meeting's notice. All other meeting procedures will adhere to board adopted procedures to the extent practicable. An audio recording of this meeting is being made and will be available to the public at a later date. We apologize in advance for any unforeseeable difficulties and ask for your patience as we navigate unprecedented conditions. If you have any questions about these suspended laws, please call the Office of the Attorney General at 888-672-6787 or by email at toma@oag.texas.gov. Okay, may we please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We'll continue on with San Elizario I.S.D. mission statement. San Elizario I.S.D. mission is to graduate students with skills to demands of a changing world by promoting student success as non-negotiable, channeling resources to match the learning needs of students, employ and retain quality staff so that San Elizario is a proud, innovative, and academically superior district. Thank you. We'll proceed now to item 2, open forum. Ms. Christine, did anyone sign up for open forum?
Board President Licon, I have no items for open forum.
Thank you, Ms. Christine. Okay, moving on to item 3, district recognitions, 3A. Teacher and Employee of the Month for Alarcón Elementary, Ms. Leticia de Santos, and Mr. Ernesto Siegel, Campus Administration.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Board President, Mrs. Licon, Board of Trustees, and Superintendent, Dr. Mesa Chavez. It is my honor to introduce our Teacher and Employee of the Month. I'm going to begin with Mrs. Solis, who is our Employee of the Month. Mrs. Solis has been at the district for 27 years, working 16 at Loya and the remaining 11 years at Alarcón. She is currently our instructional aide for science. She is a member of the San Elizario community as her children attended schools in the San Elizario Independent School District as well. She has taken on her virtual teaching assignment in the most positive manner and learned very quickly how to provide science lab instruction for her students remotely. She receives every student with a smile and has a nurturing and caring approach to all students. She takes much pride in her work as she is serving the children of the community she is a member of. She is a professional at setting up science labs for students to work in, but she is now doing it remotely, which is a bit more challenging, and she has taken on that assignment very well. Also, she will be retiring at the end of the holiday break, and we wish her a happy, very happy retirement. She will be greatly missed. I have only worked with her for 2 years, and I can attest that she is a very valuable employee who everyone depends on. Without further ado, I introduce to you Mrs. Solis, Employee of the Month for Alarcon Elementary. Go ahead and say a few words, Mrs. Solis.
Yes, sir. Good evening, members of the board. Dr. Mesa Chavez, good evening. All I can say is thank you for the recognition, and also it has been a pleasure and an honor to work for the San Elizario District for so long. I appreciate and am thankful for the opportunity, for the opportunity to have worked with you guys. I will miss everybody, but again, I am thankful. So that's it.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Solis, and we're gonna
Congratulations, Mrs.
miss
Thank you.
you. We're gonna miss you very much. I can guarantee you that. I depend on you a lot.
Thank you, sir.
Next up is Mrs. Flores, our Teacher of the Month. Mrs. Flores has been at the district for 21, well, actually 20 and a half years, but the half year counts as a whole year. So she's been at the district for 21 years. She is a teacher who is committed to her students as she comes in with a smile every single day. And I attest to that because I see her. It is evident the caring and support she has for her students is astronomical as she has created positive and nurturing relationships with her students and only wants the best for them. She receives every student with a smile and well wishes upon arriving to the school every single morning. She takes much pride in her work and holds herself to high expectations, and it is only because of the care she has for all students. She has been a true team player as she has had to move grade levels constantly in the past few years and has taken every assignment with a positive attitude and a willingness to adjust and get familiar with the new grade level assignment. She works very well with her colleagues and provides them with much experience and knowledge. She will also be retiring at the end of the holiday break, and we also wish her a very happy retirement. She will be greatly missed as she is a very valuable employee to San Elizario Independent School District. Without further ado, I introduce to you Mrs. Flores, Teacher of the Month for Alarcon Elementary. Go ahead and say a few words, Ms. Flores.
Mrs. Licon, good afternoon, board members, and good afternoon, Mrs. Jenny Mesa Chavez. And thank you, Mr. Segal, for that wonderful introduction. As I'm kind of nervous to even virtually. When I found out that I was a Teacher of the Month, I was very pleasantly surprised, being the fact that I'm going to retire. But it was a great honor, and it's amazing to retire this way, being chosen by my colleagues and my administrators as Teacher of the Month. With that said, like Mr. Segal just mentioned, I've been with the district 20 and a half years, and I would like to, at this time, give the district, I would like to thank them for giving me the opportunity to work for 20 and a half years at Alarcon. It's been an amazing experience working with these low socioeconomic students. I mean, not only did I teach them, but they taught me. as well. I grew as not only as a teacher, but as an individual because of them. So again, once again, thank you for all your support, for everything that San Elizario did for me. That's all I have to say, and I wish everyone a Merry Christmas. And I won't say farewell because I just might come back in the future and work as a substitute, so I might be seeing all of you again, and I hope so. Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Thank
and
you.
Have a happy retirement.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Yes,
Ms. Flores.
Congratulations, Ms. Flores.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you for all your years of service and happy retirement. Thank you. And we do
Thank
look
you.
forward if you want to come back. Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you, Ms. Flores.
Thank you both to Ms. Flores and Mrs. Solis. I want to wish everyone a happy holiday, and please stay safe and enjoy your break as much as possible by staying safe. Thank you very much and have a good evening.
You likewise, Mr. Siegel.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Siegel. Happy holidays.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. For the record, may
thank
we
you.
please note? Thank you. May we please note that Ms. Garcia was logged back in by 5:32? If we can just-
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Ms. Lee.
Thank you. Ms.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you, Ms. Garcia. Okay, so we will now proceed on to item, I'm sorry, I lost my 3B. Thank you. 3B. San Elizario High School 4A Cross Country Champions, Miss Christine Jacks, Athletic Director. Miss Jacks?
Good evening, Board President Lacone, members of the board, and Dr. Jeannie Mesa Chavez. Nacio, are we ready?
Yes. Wait.
Ms. Romero, the video is playing. We may not be able to hear it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Horacio, for playing that for us. Again, good evening. As you can see from the video, Sanelli has a big reason to brag. 5 state championships in a short number of years is incredible. And of course, the legacy begins with our coaches, Coach Morales and Coach Maese. They give so much of their time to the sport and to their athletes. And together with the runners, they've created a family. And it's very obvious how much they support each other. And it was such a privilege to be with them when they were running in Lubbock first at regionals and then again in Austin when they ran for state. And it truly is a family affair when you get there with all of them. And it is just wonderful to see. So at this time, I'm going to turn it over to Coach Morales and Coach I.S.D. I guess they can tag team, because I want them to be able to be the ones to introduce the team, because they're the backbone and they keep them going, and I couldn't be prouder of them. And so Coach Morales, Coach I.S.D., going to turn it over to you for right now.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Jax, and for those nice words. Good evening, Board President Ms. Licon. Good evening, all board members. Good evening, Ms. Superintendent Dr. Mesa Chavez, and everyone else in here. It's a pleasure to be here, and I've been in many. Been fortunate enough to be in many board meetings. Obviously, today it's a little different. So obviously, for obvious reasons, but by now we're used to it. We've done practices through virtually. We've done a lot of instruction virtually. So again, thank you for having us here. And I do want to take the time to real quick thank Ms. Jax for including in the video in the slideshow the previous state champions. I've been coaching since 2012, so it's almost a decade that I've been here, and it's incredible. I've been fortunate enough to be in a community where students and parents are very humble, and they take in me, and somehow these students do incredible things that I would not have done with if I were back in high school. It's just incredible. It's just a lot of sacrifices. And again, going back and looking at those years since 2014, that was our first state championship. And then 15, 16, 17. And then somehow, in there, 18 and 19, we were in the podium. We got second and third place, which is just incredible. The last 7 years, we've been in the state podium. And sometimes we forget the magnitude of being at the state level and being in the podium. Now, going back to those years, there has not been any other team that has been with us in the podium all these 7 years in a row. So we go back and check, and it's just, we've gone to teams from Houston, Dallas, San Antonio, Lubbock, Texas, everywhere. So it's just incredible. And I do want to take a time for that. Secondly, I would like to thank all the leaders in here that somehow, I know we're going through tough times, and there were times that we did not know we were going to finish the season. There were times that all of us, the whole region of El Paso, were in the limits of canceling all athletic activities. So I do want to thank you all that you waited till the last minute. And I know those are difficult decisions to make when it involves the health of students and professionals. So and every practice, every race, I would talk to the students, to the kids, boys and girls team, and tell them that take this day, whatever practice or competition, as if it's the last one, because we don't know if we're going to be back next week. And I do want to thank those leaders that took those decisions and allowed these kids to finish. Again, I understand that we won state, and that's beautiful, and that's an incredible feeling after so many years. But the main thing is that we were able to finish the season, and we were able for these students to somehow demonstrate the abilities and all the hard work they've been doing, not for the last month. They've been doing it since June, actually late May. We started with this project, and a lot of this was virtual. And then a lot of sacrifices that they do. As a teenager, it's very complicated to go to bed and go to sleep at 10 p.m. and then wake up at 6:30, stay away from all the distractions. If you can imagine, many distractions. Obviously, maintain good grades academically. And not only that, come back and practice at the state level. And so that's just incredible. And somehow it's hard to comprehend all of that. But we're not talking about district, region. We're talking at the state level. It's just incredible. I do want to share real quick a quick story, and then I'll hand that off to Mr. Coach Maese. Real quick, when we go to a state level, you compete against kids with a socioeconomic status a lot higher than us. And you can see them get there with their traveling shoes, and then they practice with their practice shoes, and then they compete with their racing shoes. And then at the end of the race, they cool down with a different pair of shoes. And some of our kids show up with shoes and they run with those shoes, they practice with those shoes, they travel with those shoes. At the end of competitions, coaches and students come and ask us, "Hey, Coach Morales, what kind of shoes is Edwin using? What kind of shoes is Dylan using?" They want to use whatever shoes we are using. Somehow they believe we're using special type of shoes. What I'm trying to tell you guys is that it's just incredible the fact that we can somehow uh, talk to these kids and make them believe that they can compete with everyone, not only in the city, in the region, around the state of Texas. With it's just incredible. So I real quick, I'm going to introduce these kids. I know a lot of them were having trouble logging in, and but I'm going to. I think we have almost everyone in here. Real quick, I'm going to go according to how we did in the race. First, we have Junior Leo Herrera. Leo Herrera was an alternate. We always take an alternate, and Leo Herrera would be a varsity runner anywhere around the city, but he happened to be in the great team that we have. So he's an alternate, but he's a varsity runner that could be varsity in any other team in the city. And then we have Angel Maese. Angel Maese is our only freshman. Angel finished in 73 in the meet. Now we're talking about state qualifier out of 250. He was 73, our only freshman. Then we have a sophomore, Matthew Maese. Matthew Maese finished in 63. And Matthew Maese was actually, I don't know if you guys were social media or maybe around the news. Thanks to Matthew, we were able to get the win because we tied from a team from Dallas, Melissa High School. We tied, the top 5 runners tied with points. They went to the 6th runner, and Matthew Maese was ahead of their 6th runner. So that was great. So Matthew Maese, sophomore, 63. Then we have Alan Ceballos. Alan Ceballos, it's a junior. Alan Ceballos finished in 53. He was our 5th runner. Then we have Irvin Vasquez. Irvin Vasquez was our 4th runner. He finished in 30th place. He is a junior as well. We have another sophomore that was our 3rd runner, and he's an all-state runner as a sophomore, which is great. He was actually the top sophomore out of the whole competition. His name is Christopher Moreno. He finished in 7th place. Being top 10 in state is actually not something very, very easy to do. And then we go to our only 2 seniors. Dylan Sanchez, he's our senior. He finished in 3rd place. Dylan Sanchez this week just signed a full ride scholarship to run in NMSU, New Mexico State University. He's going to, and he's a full ride runner. He's not gonna pay a single penny out of his pocket. Everything's paid for, including a dorm, including meals, including equipment, obviously all the tuition and books. So that's just a great accomplishment. And then we have Edwin Gomez, our other senior. He also signed to run with the University of Texas at Austin, the Longhorns. And again, he's going with a full ride. And going, our only 2 seniors going into a full ride Division I university, that is priceless. And I tell everyone, not only our varsity boys, everyone, that is, as a coach, that is the main thing that you can get, not only the trophies that will stay somewhere, somehow, or the medals. Having a kid, have everything paid for, continue education, give them more opportunity, that is just priceless. I think I took a long time. Let me hand it over to Coach Maese real quick. I apologize if I took a long time. Thank you, guys.
Welcome. First of all, good evening, board member or board president Ms. Lincoln, board members, and Superintendent Dr. Chavez. Once again, thank you for the opportunity that you guys give us here. As Coach Morales was saying, this is our 5th first place state title, but we've been in the podium for 7 years. The program speaks a lot. Okay, you need to understand that it is not simple to go to just to qualify to a state meet. Okay, whenever you look at other schools, you do notice that whenever you're looking at the state qualifying or the state championships or the people that are up there, you don't have any consistency with the schools. The only school that has been consistent for the past 7 years has been San Elizario. Just a little example, last year we did lose by 3 points to a school, Decatur. We did lose to them, This year, that school did not even qualify to state. So that's how tough competition is. And once again, just what Mr. Morales was stating, it is unheard of. At least there's no school here in the El Paso area of schools that have the amount of state championships that we have. We have 5 for cross country and obviously the 2 for soccer. So it is unheard of that. And again, please understand that in the state of Texas, obviously, if you're specifically for our sport, if you're running, that is your ultimate goal. But not everybody, not every student, not every team, not every coach has the satisfaction to say that we are state champions. And again, all of this comes down to the students. I guess the biggest reward this year, besides winning state, was that our 2 seniors have full rides to colleges. These 2 students will be the first of their immediate family to attend a college or actually to a university, which is a Division I. We have had previous students attend universities and colleges, but not to this magnitude. Keep in mind, we're talking about more than 20,000 that these students are getting every single year. And again, that just shows volume for the community. That just shows volume of the type of kids that we have. And that just shows volume of the hunger that these kids have. And we know that if we continue this, we should be able to produce more students attending college. Again, at the end of the day, it's not about winning the state, but it's about educating these kids. It's about giving these kids another opportunity or a better opportunity so they could go out and educate themselves, go out there and hopefully better their lives. And that's pretty much it. So again, once again, thank you. And once again, thank you to the leadership. We know that especially right now with everything that is happening in COVID this year has been upside down in class, plus with the sport. So we do we want to thank the leadership for allowing our students to be able to participate and for them to be able to go out there and show them what they have. So once again, thank you, Ms. Jax. I think you're muted, Ms. Jax.
Thank you, sir. I keep forgetting. Thank you, Coach I.S.D. and Coach Morales. And again, I want to thank the 2 of you for all that you do and the endless hours that you spend on campus working with these athletes. And I want to take a minute because I see some of the boys. I know some of them were not able to log in, but I want to call their names and I want them to wave or say hello or something. You're not going to get away with just sitting back there. First one is Alan, Mr. Ceballos. Christopher Moreno. If you can wave there, I see you. Matthew, I.S.D. Yay. I've got Angel I.S.D. I know he's in there. I can't find him. Leo, I don't know if Leo was able to get in. I know he was having trouble.
Ms. Jack, some of the students are through teleconferencing, so they can speak. They're muted.
Okay, so Edwin Gomez, we're gonna miss you. Dylan, gonna miss you. And then Urban Vasquez, I know you're back there somewhere. And again, thank you so much to our school board and to our superintendent for making this happen. And like Coach Morales and Coach I.S.D. said, I know when they first came out and said that they were going to slow down, there he is. There's Angel and there's Matthew. They were going to suspend it in I.S.D. and Eslada, and they were going to suspend cross country. I got this immediate text from Coach Morales. Please, 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 don't stop us. Let us keep going. And thanks to your support, we were able to do that. And it got us to where we are. So Once again, boys, you guys are awesome. You're wonderful to watch. You're awesome young men, young gentlemen. And we've got the 5 of you coming back, 6 of you coming back. So we're looking for good things for next year. And that ends our presentation. Any questions, comments?
Yeah, this is Mr. Chavez.
Really, I'd like to
Very
congratulate
proud.
the children.
Sorry, we're all
ahead,
at the
Mr.
same time.
Sí, go ahead, Mr. Romero.
Thank you, Jesus, first of all, because I'm very, very proud of them. Very proud. Good job, guys.
And I would like to say that I'm humbled in your all's presence because you all have accomplished so much, especially during this difficult time. You all truly are a family. You took care of each other as a family. You made sure that you stayed healthy during this pandemic to make this happen for yourselves. You were dedicated, you were committed to one another and to the program, and your coaches, they're phenomenal. And I'm very, very humble before you. I'm excited. I'm so excited and honestly do feel the Aggies and the Longhorns are lucky to have you boys because that's a wonderful accomplishment. I can't wait to see the great things that you all will continue to do. And like you all have been in San Elisario's community heart and soul, I believe that you have been previously, are today, and will forever be our heart and soul. Congratulations.
Hey.
Congratulations. You've made us
Okay.
I
very
want to say
proud.
congratulations also.
I just won. Before I hang up, I have to
Congratulations to the coaches
Mr.
and
Maya,
the main athletes.
Coach Maya, I had to remind you, soccer has 3 state titles, not 2. I just have to throw that in there.
That's fine.
Oh, sorry about that.
So,
This is Mr.
hey, 8 state titles is not bad, and it's quite an accomplishment. And you go to these places, and everybody's rooting for San Eli. It's amazing to watch when we were in Austin. It's like everybody was rooting them on, and they're very well known and they're very well respected. So everywhere we go, people know who we are. So thank
Ms.
you.
Jackson, this is Mr. Chavez.
Yes, sir.
I have a question and it's just a comment. I want to congratulate, first of all, the coaches and the students, for their hard work.
Yes, sir.
But after hearing this long, inspiring speech from Mr. Morales, I actually have a question for us as a district.
Okay.
What have we done to honor our student athletes? I know a while back I brought up the idea of, and I'm sorry I can't join on video. I'm having technical difficulties, but
Okay.
I had brought up the idea of memorializing the great achievements that all the students, and not just the student athletes, but we have some other students that have achieved great success from our district. And I want to see, is there any plans? I know I brought it up, but I would like for them to actually move forward on it, on having like a memorial at the high school. We talked about how we recognize our students, but I don't know if these kids want to talk, but I'm pretty sure they feel very proud if there was something something like what we have at central office, but at their high school, where their fellow students and they can inspire future students to follow in their footsteps. Last time I walked in the high school, I haven't seen anything like that.
And Coach Maesa and I were talking about that, and because when we were looking for the pictures from the past championships, I have a call into to UIL because I want to get copies of those so that we can put them at the high school. We just recently, in the new field house out there, we just put a records board for track and cross country, track and field and cross country, and it shows all the records that have been held by different. It goes all the way back to Mr. Raymond Johnson, what his record was when he was in high school. So they memorialized all those records on that board, and it's hanging on the wall inside the field house going into the trainer's room. And I know my plan is to we started with cross country and then track and field, and I want to look at trying to do those kind of boards for all the different sports. And so each sport would have their own board where they can memorialize all the past accomplishments that have been done. And so we've been doing, like, I did one board last year, and I was going to go with another one this coming year.
That sounds great, but I still, Ms. Licona, would like to see if we can put that for the next agenda about us talking about, having something for our students, for our community. I know that when I've traveled to other cities, I can't help it but notice some people even brag about being second or third in state with huge signs in front of their high schools, saying that in 2014 we made it to second place. And I mean, come on, we have 5 straight state championships. The soccer, the girls have done good in basketball, volleyball, soccer, and I know we're from a disadvantaged economic background, but there is a little bit of money that we can do kind of inspire some of our younger generations.
Mr. Chavez, are you looking, maybe we can get some big, because you're right, you go by other schools and they have these big like banners hanging off the side of the buildings. Are you looking at something like that within the?
Well, I'm not saying about a banner. I'm saying something more permanent. Look at Bowie. Bowie's still memorializes the state championship baseball team in their gym. I mean, you can't miss it from Paisano. You can see the Socorro guys. They have one baseball state championship, and they even have a park. I mean, I can go on and on about other schools that I've seen, and I think that it's a disservice to our community to not show off what we have. And I'm not saying, go crazy, but at least something that is permanent, that maybe with these kids, when they come back and decide to contribute to their community and say, you know what, you might not know this, but that kid right there in that picture or those signs, that's me. I don't think we have anything like that. And that's what I'm talking about. Well, and I know I brought it up before, and Mr. Rivas says that we talked about it and it just kind of died down. And I know that this year's been very difficult, but I don't want to let it die down.
Okay.
Well,
Mr. Chavez, Mr. Chavez, we actually are working on a project. We're just haven't identified to say anything yet, simply because that's where we started digging up when the number 5 hit. So I've noted it on our as an item for the next board meeting, and we'll start an exploratory committee on how to proceed to also include costs, so we can go from there. But I do want to take the time, Coach Morales and Coach Maese and all of our student athletes who brought the state championship home to San Elisario, to let you know how proud we are of you. If your families are listening right now, we want to thank them for their sacrifice, for just everything that you've done to bring this glory to our district, because it deserves, like Mr. Chavez said, to be memorialized. And it's not the first time you guys have gone to state, so this really should have been done a long time ago. But my promise to you is that something we're already working on. We're working on phase 1. And I believe you're going to be pleased. So Coach Morales and Coach Maese, you're going to be bothered quite a bit, because we are going to ask some questions. And I want to just thank Horacio, because we're in for a good run to try to make sure that we make our community as proud as our students have made of us. But Coach Morales and Coach Maese, you give a lot of credit to the students. I have to tell you, it's about you, the coaches, too. And one of the things I remember from you, Coach Morales, is that you always say, trust the process. And so I recognize, too, that yes, we've had to make some tough decisions, but there was never a doubt in our mind that cross country would be canceled. And so we're just thankful that you did your part and you instilled upon our students the responsibility to stay safe themselves, because that in itself, there was seasons canceled in other sports because they didn't stay healthy. And so thank you for that sacrifice. Thank you to our students. I'm not sure if there's any other trustees. Ms. Garcia, go ahead.
To the cross-country boys, I've expressed so many times how much I'm proud of you, but I want to let you know que son un orgullo para nuestra comunidad. We see y'all, Coach Cesar and Coach Maese. Thank you for the relationships that you build with your athletes. That in itself is a beautiful thing to see. And that is why I think the cross-country team thrives, because the relationships you've built with your athletes. So thank you both very much, and we are all so proud of you. Thank you.
If I may, real quick, add, thank you. I mean, everyone for those nice words, and we always get good recognition from you all, and I appreciate that. And what Dr. Mesa Chavez was mentioning, if the students do get a recognition, that would be incredible. And I know it's been on our minds since 2014. I'm not gonna lie to you, because you go to other schools and you do see all these recognitions everywhere. But sometimes I know as a coach, or we're in this program, we try to tell our kids to be humble, and it's not about the recognition, it's more about what you take out of it. So this is why we hardly ever ask for recognition, stuff like this. And I know all the recognition we get, we don't really ask for it, and the students speak for themselves, and the I guess the results speak for themselves. But this is why I've never approached anyone for a recognition, never ever, because I mean, again, trying to inspire the kids, that is not about that, is what they take out of it. So hearing this from everyone who spoke about this, it'll be great, because I have kids from 2014's first state championship asking me for stuff, and I mean, do they have anything? Have they put a picture yet? And again, hearing that something is going to come out of this, that's excellent. And Dr. Mesa Chavez and all leaders, whatever you need from me, I'm available anytime. And I mean, obviously, all of this is not really for any of us. It's to inspire everyone else in the community to see the successes, and obviously to somehow stop kids moving to other districts, when I believe we are on the best district right now. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Coach Morales.
Oh, and very quickly, I'm sorry to interfere, but very quickly to add to what Coach Morales was saying, we need to understand that these students, yes, they do get, the little recognition, but the question is what happens afterwards. And we know that students from the community, people from the community are looking at these students, and we would like something that showcases the effort that these kids have been putting into it. And we know that if somehow we're able to get something permanent, we know and we believe that more students will be inspired, not only obviously to join the sports, but to continue to stay here at San Elizario. And we know that enrollment is a huge problem right now, but items like this should be able to keep our own students. And again, keep in mind if there's anything that we could do, myself and Coach Morales as coaches, if we have great ideas. We have a lot of ideas, and we're willing to sit down with the committee or create some type of committee and figure out how can we best, I guess, do something permanent for these, not only for our students, but for every other student. And again, the main goal of this is to keep on inspiring. Again, number one thing is to keep on inspiring and to continue to educate these kids, and to allow them to reach whatever abilities that they have, and to reach it to the maximum. And thank you for allowing us to speak, and thank you for holding this for our students.
Okay. Thank you very much, Coach I.S.D and Coach Morales. Student athletes, congratulations again. And like you said, with such an honor, and great things are happening, will continue to happen, and we're excited to see what's in store next for every single one of you. So we're very, very excited. Ms. Jax, is there anything else you'd like to add, or do we proceed?
No, ma'am, that's it for me. And again, I just want to thank everybody, and coaches, thank you again. Have a good evening.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Jax. Congratulations, kids. Okay, and before I proceed, for the record, if I may note, at 6:14, Mr. Chavez, Eduardo Chavez, was called out to service, so he had to leave the meeting. So again,
Thank
Ms.
you.
Christine, at 6:14.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, now we will proceed to item 4, the executive session. The board will enter into a closed meeting to discuss personnel matters, to consult with attorney, to discuss real estate matters, to consider recommendations for hiring of personnel or termination of personnel, and other personnel matters under section 551.071, 551.072, and 551.074 of the Texas Governing Code. Item 4A will be discussion of reassignment of personnel to serve as principal of Loya Zambrano and possible action to approve compensation in light of budget constraints. And item 4B will be discussion on employee board superintendent communication at 6:16 p.m. So for cameras and our computers and executive session. Thank you. It is 6:52 p.m. The board will return to open session to take possible action on the matters discussed in executive session. Item 6A, possible board action to approve compensation of personnel serving as principal of Loya Zambrano in light of budget constraints. And we won't be taking action on this item. So we don't have anything for that item. With that said, we will now proceed to item 6, new business board action items. 6A, focus on student outcome goals. 1 being discussion and possible board action to approve Alarcón Elementary School monitoring student progress, essential school framework, targeted improvement plan. Ms. Leticia de Santos and Mr. Ernesto Siegel, campus administration.
Good evening, Board President Licon, members of the board, Dr. Mesa Chavez. I'll go ahead and begin. We'll go ahead and look at our mission statement. The mission and vision statement for Alarcón Elementary. We'll start with the mission statement. Our students at Alarcón Elementary School will excel in both academic and social areas in order to seek higher educational opportunities to become self-sufficient and productive citizens. Our vision statement is Alarcón Elementary is committed to creating lifelong learners. We're going to go ahead and start with our mathematics data. This is cumulative data from the beginning of the year up until the month of November. We are going to look at our data first as a campus. So looking as a campus-wide, we are at a 76.12% approaches level, 47.93% meets, and a 26.20% masters. It is broken down by grade level, so we'll go ahead and look at our third grade, which is a 72.91% approaches level, 48.99% meets, and a 17.87% master's level. In fourth grade, currently we are at 81.31% approaches level, 50% meets, and 29.29% master's level. Fifth grade, we're at an 89.17% approaches, 60.65% meets, and 40.79% masters. And finally, at our sixth grade, we are currently at a 66.15% approaches, 39.13% meets, and a 21.74% master's level. Some of our interventions that we are doing this year at Alarcón is we do have our daily morning intervention, which is a 45-minute block that is incorporated in our daily schedule. So this is a time where students who are struggling get that extra support. We've also implemented our after-school intervention 2 times a week. Every Monday and Wednesday, we get that extra support for those students who are needing it. We are also analyzing our math assessments in grade 3rd through 6th grade, both the unit assessments and our benchmarks. And we're utilizing that data, the teachers are utilizing that data for targeted instruction in the classroom. Our teachers are also doing small group instruction during math time. And our 6th graders are utilizing the IXL computer-based program for intervention as well. And our instructional specialist is planning with all our teachers during PLC time, during their conference time, and after school if needed. Looking at our reading data, we are looking at the cumulative data from the beginning of the year up until now. As a campus, we are at a 58.46% approaches, 26.30% meets, and a 10.55% masters. We did break it down by grade level as well. So looking at 3rd grade, we are at a 47.3% approaches, a 15.84% meets, and 11.88% masters. 4th grade, we are currently at a 70.25% approaches level, 13.36% meets, and a 9.9% master's level. Our 5th grade, currently, we are at a 57.23% approaches, 45.28 meets, and a 6.92% master's level. And finally, 6th grade, we are at a 54.27% approaches level, 20.9% meets, and a 10.26% master's level. Every month, our students are taking the I-Station test. We are looking at moving our students from level 1 and 2 to more of the green, which is our level 4 and 5. Please keep in mind that these students are taking the test at home, so we've had to have some conversations with some parents because they were assisting our students with the test. And so we truly want to get a picture of where our students are at and how we can better support them. So we did have to have a few conversations with the parents. Next slide, please. So in looking at our iStation, what we are doing with this data is we are meeting with our teachers, and we are targeting our levels 1 and 2 and providing that intervention that is needed so that we can move them up to a level 4 and 5. Next slide. Our reading interventions that we are currently incorporating at Alarcón, of course, we have our daily morning intervention, which is our 45-minute block in the morning that is incorporated in our daily schedule. We are doing our after-school tutoring intervention 2 times a week. We are also analyzing our reading data, our assessments for grades 3 through 6. And of course, the teachers are utilizing that data to target their instruction. They are also doing small group instruction during their reading instruction. Our students are testing for iStation every month to show the growth. We have our instructional specialists planning with our teachers during PLC, conference, and after school. Our 3rd through 6th grade students who are below grade level, which is our level 1 and 2 in iStation, they are currently working with our at-risk teacher. And finally, we do have our instructional aide who is providing intervention for all 3rd grade students. Here we have our 5th grade science cumulative from the beginning of the year till now. Currently, as a campus for 5th grade, we are at a 64.15% approaches level, 37.26% at a meets level, and 21.23% at a master's level. Some of the interventions that we are doing for science, our teachers are looking at the low performing standards and administering small group intervention during the intervention times in the morning. In addition to that, our teachers are also planning with our instructional officer, Ms. Debbie Cortez, who's just awesome. She does a great job with our teachers. We did take our interim assessment in November. Basically what this interim assessment is, it is our benchmark, and what it is measuring is the probability of how our students are going to perform on STAR come May. Now, please keep in mind that not all standards have been taught. So our teachers are still in the process of teaching some of the standards that did show up on the interim assessment. And so overall, looking at as a campus for math, we did take the assessments only in math and reading. So overall, as a campus in math, we were at a 44.36% probability of all our students achieving approaches grade level, 14.77% probability of our students achieving a master's grade level, and a 4.29% probability of our students achieving the other one was meets. This is the master's level. In reading, as a campus, we were at a 42.31% probability of our students achieving the approaches level, an 18.74% probability of our students achieving the meets level, and a 9.8% probability of our students achieving the master's grade level. We did also break it down by grade level for both the math and the reading. So if we look at 3rd grade, we are at a 31.42% probability of students achieving an approaches grade level for math, 12.21% probability of students achieving meets grade level, and a 6.70% probability of our students achieving a master's grade level. In the reading for 3rd grade, we are at a 38.34% probability of our students achieving the approaches grade level, a 19.31% probability of our students achieving the meets, and an 11.49% of our students achieving the master's grade level. For 4th grade in math, we are at a 53% probability of our students achieving the approaches. 16% of our students have a probability of meeting the meets, and a 5.22% probability at the master's level. For reading, we are at a 50.78 probability of our students achieving that approaches grade level, 23.46% probability of our students achieving the meets grade level, and a 9.59% probability of our students achieving the master's grade level. And I did want to mention that these students did also take this assessment at home as well. The next slide, please. For fifth grade, for both math and reading, we are at a 48.80% probability of our students achieving approaches grade level, 13.92% probability of our students achieving the meets grade level, and a 1.77 probability of our students achieving the master's grade level. In the reading, we are at a 43.78% probability of our students achieving the approaches, 17.70% probability of our students achieving the meets grade level, and 8.37% probability of our students achieving the master's grade level. And then looking at our sixth grade math, we are at a 46.42% probability of our students achieving the approaches grade level, a 16.58% probability of our students achieving the meets, and a 3.71% probability of our students achieving the master's grade level in math. And reading, we are at a 39.48% probability of our students achieving the approaches, 16.37% probability of our students achieving the meets grade level, and a 7.41% probability of our students meeting the master's grade level. Now, we will be taking our second opportunity, which is our fall interim assessment in January, and we are hoping to see more improvement in some of these areas. In our college and career and military readiness, we are getting ready for our college week, which is our Eagle Proud College Bound, which it will be held at the end of January 25th through the 29th. We will be presenting to our students a college presentation. We are going to include the San Elizario Early College. I'm sure they'll be excited to hear about that. We're also doing our manual college applications. We're having our college week activities promoting different EPCC college campuses. And we are also going to include parent presentations. We have our Eagle Proud College Bound message from Dr. Serrata from EPCC. He also did a special message for our students. We had our honor roll assembly, and he did a very great special message to all of our students for the honor roll. So many thanks to him for doing that. We have our sixth grade college presentations to include our San Elizario Early College, our mini Applied Texas, our endorsement presentations, scholarship applications, and financial aid information presentations, presentation of admission letters to our sixth grade students. So our sixth grade students get an actual admissions letter from EPCC, and the EPCC personnel presented to our students. So our students are very excited when they get those letters. They see and they're like, wow, they think it's like they actually got into college. So just seeing their faces light up when they get that acceptance letter is priceless. We do have our career week activities coming up in April. While we doing those career week activities, we are going to have guest speakers and virtual career and military presentations. Looking at our effective school framework, we do have areas where we are focusing on improving. The first area is our data-driven instruction. Our rationale behind that is that Alarcón needed to develop a culture of data-driven instruction. We have implemented consistent data practices and are making instructional decisions based on the student data. So we are conducting our data meetings every time we have the students take an assessment just to analyze that data. The next area of focus is our objective-driven daily lesson plans with formative assessments. Our rationale behind that was weekly lesson planning will take place during PLC, and the leadership team will assist in the planning. Considering that strong lesson planning is a critical component of data-driven instruction, we need to develop a stronger system in that area. And so we are currently all the leadership team, to include myself, Mr. Siegel, our instructional specialist, Ms. Salamantes, we are all in those PLCs providing that support to our teachers. Our last area of improvement was curriculum and assessments aligned to TEKS with a year-long scope and sequence. While the curriculum and assessments are aligned to the TEKS, more support is needed for our special populations. Therefore, we are ensuring that during data meetings, a portion of time is spent on special populations, academic performance, and all stakeholders are part of the discussion. So throughout our data meetings, the teachers do fill out a form prior to our data meeting. And on that particular form, there is an area for our special populations. And so we do a lot of talking, trying to see how we can best support our special population. Our targeted improvement plan, which is our cycle 1, which we just completed September through November. It did focus on 3 areas, which are the 3 areas that I previously discussed. Our first area is the data-driven instruction. And on that, our desired outcome for the first cycle was for student performance to improve throughout the year due to the data-driven decisions made by classroom teachers to ensure success for all students. Our 90-day outcome was we wanted an alignment with our data analysis, our data meetings for all grade levels. Barriers that we did find as we were looking at all of this, we did find that due to the virtual learning, the validity of the assessment has been an issue for some students, as well as students just putting their effort. And like I had said before, we noticed that sometimes parents help the students with the assessment. So sometimes it is not true data that we're reviewing. And then sometimes our students, you know, they're not face-to-face with their teacher, so it makes it difficult for them to try their very best. The next area that we looked at was our objective-driven daily lesson plans with formative assessments. Our desired outcome was to design and implement a new template that will assist teachers in producing daily lesson plans that will address the students' needs, follow the district scope and sequence, and spiral the standards of concern. Our 90-day outcome that we were looking for was we wanted teachers to collaborate together using the new lesson plan template and to have grade level alignment while meeting their own classroom needs. Some of the barriers that we found was that due to the virtual PLCs, it's been a little bit difficult for our teachers to meet. We do have our Friday PLCs, and what we found is mainly on Fridays is when they meet, and being that we don't have all our teachers on campus at the same time, that has been difficult for some of the grade levels. Our next area is our curriculum and assessments aligned to TEKS with a year-long scope and sequence. Our desired outcome was for teachers to implement differentiation in the daily lesson plans and instruction to meet the needs of their special populations. This is to include the intervention and tutoring. Our 90-day desired outcome was for teachers to follow the district pacing guides and you know, not to fall behind. Some of the barriers that we did find and we're addressing is due to virtual learning. Teachers are struggling to meet meet the needs of our special populations as they are meeting whole group. Now, one thing that I do want to mention is that our Google Classroom platform now has breakout rooms to where our teachers are now utilizing those breakout rooms to provide that small group instruction for our students. So that has really, really helped with providing small group and interventions for those who are in need of it. The next slide, we have our attendance. For the month of August, we were at a 97.11%. September, we were at 95.94%. October, we were at a 93.61%, and November, 95.75%. Some of the interventions that we are doing currently. Next slide, please. Some of our interventions are the admin team and our office staff are calling parents, just making sure that letting them know that the students do need to stay logged on. If the students are logging off, we are making those phone calls, reminding the parents to please have their students or their children stay logged on, and most importantly, submit assignments if they're having connectivity issues. We are analyzing our absent reports daily to ensure individual students and their parents are being informed of attendance concerns. We are conducting walkthroughs just to ensure that our students are present. You know, sometimes the teachers will call us up and let us know, so-and-so is not in the classroom. Can you please call them? And we'll call them and we'll talk to the students and we'll tell them, okay, I'm going to go into the class in 2 minutes. I better see you there. And so we log into the class, and sure enough, they pop in. So it seems to be working. The next thing we are doing is we're ensuring that warning letters are going out for unexcused absences. If they have 3 unexcused absences, we are sending out the warning letters. We are also asking parents to send in any doctor's notes or notes that they write if their child is ill or has gone to the doctor. We are having our virtual attendance and honor roll assemblies just to acknowledge those students who are committed to logging on every single day and making sure that they're there every single day. And we did have our awards, first 9 weeks awards, and we had quite a bit of students who had perfect attendance. And so we recognized them and we told them how proud we were of them, because, you know, it takes a lot to log in and make sure you're there all day. And so we let them know that we really appreciated them, you know, putting forth their effort with logging in every single day. And lastly, we make sure that every student has a working device. That in itself has been a challenge for our students. We get phone calls from technology letting us know, you know what, their camera isn't working, their computer isn't working, and we tell them send them this way so that we can get them a working device. We're also ensuring that we're having our distributions, making sure that our students have the proper material needed to be successful. Our next slide is our walkthroughs. Combined between Mr. Siegel and myself, we are at 355 walkthroughs. We are trying very hard to be in those classrooms, not only to see the instruction, but to make the connections with those students. You know, it's different than walking into a classroom and seeing your students, you know, face to face. Going virtually, it's been fun to go in and see the kids and see their smile when they see you walk in, or you know, they tell their teacher, so and so is Ms. Carrillo, Ms. De Santos just came in. And so it's exciting to see them smiling when we walk into the classroom. So we try to be in the classrooms as much as possible. And finally, our campus showcase.
Mrs. Santos, the video is private, so I can't really show it.
Oh, no. Okay, I'm so sorry. I can definitely see if I can email it to Dr. Mesa Chavez and see if she can share it with you all. We actually had photos of our faculty, our staff, our students, and them actually teaching the classes. We actually had some students that I really wanted you all to see being thankful, and they did a thankful message, and they thanked, you know, their parents and their teachers, and they were just very happy to be connected. And although it's virtual, they were so excited to have the opportunity to learn from their teachers. So I really would like for you all to see it. So I will go ahead and email it to Dr. Mesa Chavez, and hopefully she'll share it with you all.
Absolutely. We will, Mr. Santos. Thank you so much. President
Thank you.
Lincoln?
Good job, Ms. De Santos. This is Mrs. Romero.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mrs. De Santos. Thank you for the work that you're doing. And I get you. I'm sure we're all waiting for that moment that we can see our kids again once more in person. But I understand too, right now, it has to be, for now, virtually. But thank you for the work you continue to do, you and your staff at Alarcon.
Thank you so
very
much. Thank you.
Anyone else have any questions or comments?
Thank you, Ms. De Santos. This is Ms. Garcia. Excellent job.
Thank you.
Okay. If we don't have any more comments or questions, may I please have a motion? On this item, we do need a motion, to approve the Alarcon School Monitoring Student Progress and Essential School Framework Targeted Improvement Plan.
I so move.
Okay.
I second.
So we have a motion on the floor by Mrs. Garcia, a second by Mrs. Hernandez for item 6A1. Ms. Garcia, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mrs. Hernandez?
Aye.
Ms. Romero?
Aye.
And Mrs. Licon, myself, aye. Motion carries. Moving on to item 7, which is our consent agenda, item 7A through E1. Are there any items you'd like to pull out for discussion? Do you have
None.
any questions or concerns? Comments?
No.
No? If not,
Yes. No, yes. Excuse me.
yes, ma'am.
Item 7A4.
Okay, you want to pull out item 7A4?
Yes, ma'am, please.
Okay, so we're pulling out item 7A4. Any other item? If not, then may I please have a motion for the other items, with the exception of 7A4?
Which one is 7A4, Ms. Licon? I'm sorry?
It is the financial reports, and it would be the budget amendment. But if I can have a motion, then we can go back and revisit that and discuss that one.
I so move.
Okay, so it's
I second.
it was Ms. Hernandez,
Yes, ma'am.
seconded by Ms. Romero.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
Ms. Garcia, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mrs. Hernandez,
Aye.
Ms. Romero,
Aye.
Mrs. Licon, myself, aye. The motion carries, so we will now go back and open up item 7A4. In our board book, it's page 58. Then came Ms. Hernandez. You have the floor.
Thank you, Ms. Licon. My question is, being that we had already adopted the budget for legal counsel of 31,700, and we're now looking to approve a budget of 84,766. My question is, I understand that services for legal counsel and the budget has been high. Well, the monthly budget has been high because of the current COVID situation. But my question for Mr. Rivas is, do you foresee us using legal counsel as much as we did the previous months?
Good evening, Board President Licon, board members, and Superintendent Dr. Mesa Chavez. Board Trustee Ms. Hernandez, to answer that, I may have to defer that to HR because a lot of the COVID issues are HR items regarding resolutions. I know the legal counsel does provide services for all areas, whether it's facilities, technology, the board.
Right.
In an overall, I do not foresee it to be as heavy as it was the period of, I guess, April through September, right? Because we were closing out the year. There was a first resolution, and then we have to start the year, and then there was this whole asynchronous method and the school closures. As the uncertainties begin to diminish, it should be less. The budget amendment amount was simply, let me take whatever the amount is divided by the number of months times 12. So that is assuming nothing worse happens, which I can't foresee. So my hope would be that, yes, it would be a lot less than what we've incurred so far, but I cannot guarantee that.
So we can approve it, but it doesn't necessarily mean that that's what's going to be spent. My question was just because it's such a big gap from 31,000 to 84,000.
That is correct, ma'am. If the board approves it, that does not mean that it will be spent. So if the board approves the budget amendment for legal counsel services and the money sits in that account, and at the end of the year, whatever isn't spent just goes unspent. So the difference between actual revenues and actual expenditures would be the change in fund balance. There are several accounts that kind of finish the year off that way. Another example would be fuel. So we budgeted for fuel for the full year like it would be a regular year. And that is one account that should not, we should not spend all the money in that account. Another example would be the buses that we use for transportation for extracurricular activities. Same thing with those because we haven't had your after school sports, the tutoring bus runs haven't been going on. So money like that, even though it's budgeted at full cost, it does not get spent. Substitutes would be another one. So this one would kind of fall in there. This is worst case scenario, assuming the same trend for the rest of the year.
And Mrs.
Okay.
Hernandez?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Hernandez, I'd also like to add that, I did have a conversation, with our team to ensure, obviously we know everybody is having to cut down on expenses all the way around. But there are some things that I know on the curriculum side, I'm sure Dr. Segovia and I feel really confident about things, but we try every single thing that we bring to you all. We want to make sure that legal counsel has looked at it, but we've had that conversation that we will continue to be mindful. So just because it is approved, like Sir Beto indicated, does not mean that all of it will be used. And I just wanted to make you aware that I had already had conversations with our team about that.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Mesa Chavez. Thank you, Beto. I appreciate that.
Set aside?
Thank you.
So that has been set aside and reserved just in case, or is that in the budget already?
Hello, Ms. Romero. The budget amendment that is being presented is not in the budget at the moment. What was in the budget was a smaller amount, the $31,000. This budget amendment would be increasing the budget, and the money would be reserved only for legal counsel fees.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Beto.
Any other
Thank you.
questions? If not, may I please have a motion for item 7A4?
I so move.
Okay.
I second.
Okay. So we have a motion by Mrs. Garcia and a second by Mrs. Hernandez. Ms. Garcia?
Yes, ma'am.
Aye.
Mrs. Hernandez?
Aye.
Mrs. Romero?
Aye.
And Mrs. Licon? Aye. Motion carries. Thank you, Lee. Thank you. Okay, moving on to
Thank you,
item.
Mr. Rivas.
Thank you.
Moving on to item 8, reports, information, and presentations. Item 8A, Texas Education for Homeless Children and Youth, is a presentation from Mrs. Teresita Parra, social worker, and Ms. Sylvia Graves, social worker at I.S.D. Ladies, you have the floor. I'm sorry, page 95 of your board book, Ms. Romero.
Yes, I got it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. Good evening, Board President Ms. Licon, board members, and Dr. Mesa Chavez. We thank you for allowing us to present today. I am Ms. Teresita Parra, and online is Ms. Sylvia Graves with me. And we will be presenting. We're your district social workers, homeless liaisons, and foster care liaisons. I believe Mr. Horacio is going to begin our presentation with a short video.
How many of you in the last few weeks have gone to bed hungry? At Castleberry School, students whose families are at the poverty level or slightly above qualify for the free lunch program. We talked with some of those kids with their parents' permission. Who can tell me what it's like to feel hungry?
It's like hard. You can't sleep. You just like wait. You just go to sleep for like 5 minutes and you wake up again and your like stomach hurts and you're thinking, I can't sleep. I'm going to try and sleep. I'm going to try and sleep, but you can't because your stomach's hurting and it's because it doesn't have any food in it. And it's like a black hole. And sometimes when I don't eat, my stomach, you can hear like it's like growling. You can hear it.
Usually we eat macaroni or we drink water or tea. My mom will sometimes like make food and then she won't have enough, so at night we'll just eat cereal or something. Other times my parents will fight about money because they don't have enough money to pay the food. We have to sometimes take food from a church. It's hard because my grandmother's also out of work and we usually get some food from her.
It's kind of embarrassing because the next day you go to school, I'm asking kids if they want this or if they want that. If they have cereal and they haven't opened it yet, you go ask them if they want their cereal.
We found a lot of families are making a choice between food and electricity. How many of you have had the lights turned off at your house? How do you study when you don't have the lights on at home?
We have emergency flashlights and I usually have to use them. I'll just light candles and sit around in a circle of candles.
Candles? Yes, ma'am.
I use candles because my mommy brings some.
I'll go out to the car and turn on the overhead and read out there and study.
Ashley Ray raised her hand to add something that we didn't expect.
I kind of feel like it's my fault that we don't have enough money. I feel like it's my fault that they have to pay for me and the clothes that they buy for me.
Their belief.
Thank you, Horacio.
Thank you.
Thank you, Horacio. So a lot of the reason why we're going to start our presentation now, a lot of the reason why we do what we do is because of what you just saw right now. A lot of our children are facing circumstances, and as you saw, one little girl even said that she felt that it was her fault. So through our program, we are able to provide little things to alleviate that for our children. So I'm going to go ahead and start. So if you can see our numbers, so students experiencing homelessness in Texas overall, during Snapshot, this is what we kind of see. And Snapshot, for those of you who may not know, Snapshot is at the beginning of the year, and it gives us a little bit of a number to where the school districts let the Texas Education Agency know where we're at with our special populations regarding English language learners, special education, homeless, and foster care students. So if you see, you saw a little bit of a decrease. So 17, 18, 18, 19, and then all the way down to 19, 20, there was a decrease. However, the snapshot is usually taken in October, the last Friday in October. But if you see, our numbers increase by the end of the year. They almost double. And that is because children experience homelessness throughout the year. So those numbers that we give to you at the beginning of the year are not always what we stay with towards the end. So how do we define our students, right? Our McKinney-Vento students. They're students who lack, students or youth who lack a fixed, regular, or adequate nighttime residence. Those three indicators, whichever of the three, are what we use to code our students. In the codes that we use, I've demonstrated them right here so that you can see, we use code 2, 3, 4, and 5. 2 being if the family is doubled up due to economic hardship or similar reasons. 3 would be if they're unsheltered. That includes campgrounds, abandoned cars. We do use 3 also for certain homes that do not meet HUD standards, and those standards are given to us through the Texas Education Agency. Number 4 is any students who are living in a hotel or motel. And number 5 is students who are living in emergency shelters or in transitional shelters or who have been abandoned in the hospital. The next 2 codings are used only in conjunction with one of the other ones that we've said, either 2, 3, or 4, or 5. So 3 and 4 are with students who are not in the physical custody of a parent and guardian, and I'll explain a little bit more. So if they are with their parents or guardians, they will be coded a 3, or if they're not, we'll use a 4. And for our agency and our group of students who are not in the physical company of a parent or guardian, we have those coded as unaccompanied youth. And for our records, a guardian would have to be someone who has been designated by a judge or by the court. It doesn't include, I know that we've had some sign educational affidavits or power of attorneys that my grandma is going to take care of my kids. Those are good for some things as far as Medicaid and food stamps, but for our program, it is not allowed, so we do have to code a student an unaccompanied youth. I know I didn't mention this before. I'm sorry. I tried to begin really quickly because I know you guys want to get home to your families. Ms. Graves will be on our chat, and she'll be chiming in, and she'll also be answering any questions that you guys may have. For our foster care students, those students are identified as students who have been placed away for their parents or guardians through a child welfare agency. So it's usually CPS, if you guys are familiar with that. So our students that are in the McKinney-Vento program, as well as the foster care program, they have certain rights. All of our kids have rights, of course, right? But our kids in our special populations, they have additional to be enrolled in school immediately, even if they lack what's normally required of other students. So this can include immunizations, birth certificates, transcripts, or proof of residence. In the event that a registrar or someone in the campus sees this, they usually call Ms. Graves or myself and say, okay, this is what's going on. They don't have these documents. And Ms. Graves and I will quickly help the families get any information that the families are lacking. So our McKinney-Vento students also have 3 school choices. And so the 3 school choices are school of origin, the local attendance area, and the state school selection provision. And so let me give you a little example. I'm going to use our boss, Dr. Segovia. So Mr. Segovia is living with Miss Graves, right? That's his mom. And they are living in Sanelli. And Miss Graves loses her job. Miss Graves has to move in with Mrs. Parra, and I am living in Isleta. Dr. Segovia's school of origin will be Sanelli. That's where he was originally, and he can return to that school of origin and we can provide transportation. Or he can go to his local attendance area, which is Isleta, where he's living now, or he has the right to the state school selection, which he can attend any school in the El Paso area or Texas area. The only difference there is that they do not qualify for the McKinney-Vento transportation. So for the 2 first ones, we will provide transportation. Usually for the local attendance area, that school will provide transportation. But for the school of origin, we will pick them up every day from Isleta and transport them to Sanelli and back. We have an agreement with all the districts. But for the 3rd selection, that one, we do not provide transportation, but the families still have the opportunity to attend any school in El Paso or Texas. For foster care students, it's a little similar. The only difference with our foster care students is that every decision that is made has to go through an educational specialist. That educational specialist is through the Child Protective Service Agency. They are the ones who have that selection of employee. That employee contacts us. We have meetings with them regularly, and she will tell us. She will tell us if the child is going to remain in the school or is going to attend a new school. In the event that they are going to attend Sanelli, we are required to provide transportation. And they do it, that process is done because through these children, sometimes there's certain circumstances where they do have to see that the safety of the child is put first. So that's why there's a process, and it goes through the educational specialist, because they have their own guidelines to see whether or not the child is safe enough to return to their school of origin. I know I'm going quickly, but so how do we identify these students, right? So for our McKinney-Vento students, we use what's called an SRQ form, or a student questionnaire. And I know all of you have had children or at one point in Sanelli, so you filled these out. They were either on paper, and now thanks to our technology, our awesome technology department, they're online. So we get those forms given to us, and that is our first kind of like an indicator. It's a red flag. This child could be coded in your program or could qualify. So once we get those, Ms. Graves and I, we go through every single form of every single child to see if they qualify for our program. With the foster care students, that's also a little different. We receive an actual form, which is called a 2085, through the Child Protective Agency. They have a form that they give their foster care parents, and that form alone is what indicates whether or not they are to receive services. In your packets, you should have copies. I know this one kind of looks a little, but this is what our forms look like. They are in English and Spanish for our parents. If they indicate one of the first two questions, then it'll prompt them to answer the next questions. And that gives us information so that we can go out and make a home visit. Ms. Sylvia or I will go out. We do include the students' siblings so that we know, we do want to make sure that we code the whole entire family so we can provide service to everyone. I apologize for this form. This form is a legal form, so we did have to copy one that we already had, and we kind of had to liquid paper because these forms are only given to us through CPS, and they're legal documents through the court system. And if you see in the corner, oh, I'm sorry. If you see in the corner, it has the 2085, and this one has a K to indicate that it's a kinship placement, which is that the student was placed with a family member. So the next, as board members, you will you have attended several trainings, extensive trainings. So because of our population being so highly vulnerable, we do train everyone. We train our faculty, we train our staff, we train board members, because things happen throughout the year. They don't only happen during the beginning of the school year when we're registering our students, correct? We don't have them, life happens and things, we depend on our faculty, we depend on our staff, and we depend on you all to let us know, hi, you know what, I think it's possible that this person could qualify for your program. And we're very blessed that in Sanelli, they let us know right away if there's flooding in a home, if someone has had a fire, if there's a loss of job, if there's domestic violence, or if our students are kicked out. They give us that information so that we can quickly make home visits and make the referrals that are needed so that our students get what, and our families get what we can help them with. Some of the duties that we provide identification, like we said, the identification and documentation. That is done because we do have to, it is provided in the queue and their school record. So all of our SRQs and the 2085s are put into a school record, and we also provide services like we said before, and we're going to go into some of the details of the different services we provide. We provide trainings like we're doing tonight. We post awareness materials. Those materials, I know it's been a while since we've been at the campuses, but they are usually at the entrance or where the registrars are. If you've been to Central, they're right when you come in. And we also provide outreach to our families. So through the services that we provide, we use Title I Part A set-aside funds. And the first three services that we provide are in the event that a child doesn't have insurance, which it could happen. They're changing, they're in transition. So if they do not have insurance, we do provide dental, we provide vision, and we provide immunizations for our students. The other two services that we provide are school uniforms and school supplies for our kids to be successful. We have also been blessed that with the help of Ms. Beatriz Apodaca, we applied for the Texas Education Homeless and Youth Grant. And through this grant, we received enough money to provide tutoring for special populations as well as hygiene products. The other thing that is also tied to our homeless and foster care students is the possibility of our students who could be human trafficked, right? I know that as board members, you did receive another training that was a little more extensive, but if you look at who the number two people or children that are possibly trafficked, you see our homeless and you see our foster care students. They are a highly vulnerable population, and so Ms. Graves and I have began trainings, as well as we are going to start training faculty and staff to see what the similarities are of how we can help our kids avoid being human trafficked, and how we can target just more trainings for our district. So some of the indicators that we're going to start letting our faculty and staff know, and as well as you all, are some of the indicators. They're limited, but they're not, they don't have to meet all of these, okay? But if they avoid eye contact with you, if they appear malnourished, so all of these different academic behavior, if they're starting to experience that, if our students are starting to experience that, we want to make sure that we start asking the right questions and maybe referring them to the counselor, referring to them to the social worker, or even one of our administrators, so that we can get some clarification and even help stop whatever our students are, if they are being human trafficked. So what are the steps that we start doing if we suspect if one of our students is being trafficked? The first one would be, we will contact our SROs. We're blessed again to have two SROs, one at the middle school and one at the high school. They are our number one source. We will contact them and they will start an investigation. Once that is done, we will ask either the teacher or whoever is suspecting that they do make a report to CPS. Once that is done, if the child feels that they need, or if it's okay, and the victim feels that it's an appropriate referral, we can refer them to the counselor or the social worker so that we can follow up. We want to make sure that we follow up with our students and we provide the services that are needed. So at this time, I'm not sure if any of you or Ms. Graves, was there any questions in the chat?
I couldn't see any questions on the chat, or I didn't see any.
Board members, is there any questions that you may have?
I have a comment for Ms. Teresita Parra and Ms. Graves. Thank you both so much for everything you do. I've had the privilege to work alongside of you, Ms. Parra, for some of the events that we've done, and the work that you both do and the work that our SROs do is incredible. Thank you so much for everything you do for our students. And if there's anything that you need from us, please let us know and we'll get it to you as soon as possible. You had me crying my eyeballs out over here, like always, like every year.
It's not meant to. It's not meant to. I'm sorry. Well, we thank you both, and Ms. Graves and I both included our extensions as well as the campuses that we service. I take care of the high school, middle school in Borrego, and Ms. Graves takes care of Loya, Zambrano, and Alarcón. And at any time, you can let us know if you need anything at all. We're always here and willing to provide service to you all and as well as our community. So thank you so much for letting us have this time. I went as fast as I could.
And
I just want to say, I'm sorry. I just want to say thank you as well. I share the same sentiment that Ms. Garcia shared, and you all take donations all year as well, right?
Yes, we do.
Okay, good. That way, we can let the community know, and anybody who would like to donate or has, clothes that no longer fit or food or anything. But also, if you need something, please let us know.
Oh, thank you, Juan. Thank you. We appreciate it.
Yes,
you.
thank
Thank
you
you
so
both.
much. And we do, oh, sorry, I'm sorry.
no, it's okay. No, you have the floor.
We also do, we thank you for all your donations. I know all of you, at some point, all of you board members have donated to us. And so we're very grateful. And, our families are very humble and they thank for anything that you give them. They are very humble.
I have a question, Ms. Parra. Are we as a district doing anything for families? I know that we've done it in previous years for like Christmas, like a basket and stuff. Do you need anything like that you need for the baskets or donations? Now's the time to let everybody know.
No, right?
The floor. You have the floor, Teresita.
Wow. No, actually, we're very blessed. Like I said before, like San Eli is such a giving district. We're so good, right? We're like, hey, how can I help? But thankfully, we had a community member volunteer to bring turkeys and hams, and the central office staff, Dr. Segovia and Ms. Graves and I were like, okay, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? So we're going to all provide the stuff to go in the baskets. So we are, for Christmas, we are giving 10 boxes with a turkey or a ham, and central office staff has agreed to bring all the like rice, cereal, bread. We're just like filling it up. For Thanksgiving, the SRO department, the sheriff's department, provided Thanksgiving meals to 15 of our students. And then they also provided for Christmas, when the kids come to pick up their boxes at central office, we're going to give them stuffed animals. So we're gonna, it's gonna be at central office on the last Friday, and we're gonna provide their boxes as well as their stuffed animals. So,
Well, I like to interject. I think we need a Santa Claus.
Oh, Dr.
I agree.
Volunteering? Dr. Segovia, yes, I hear Dr. Segovia.
I second that.
Just kidding.
I just want to make another comment. I just want to say thank you
Anybody,
because
Dr. Segovia, so you're it. So.
As long as I can wear this hat.
yes,
Oh, no problem.
a Sanelli Santa Claus. Yes, we love it. I just have another comment for Ms. Parra and Ms. Graves. I just want to say thank you because you have been in the front lines since the beginning, and you have been there for our families unconditionally. And I think that that's awesome of you. You all have a great big heart, and I just want to thank you for it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
If I can add to that, that you do ensure that our students do have all the needs that they that they require, especially, sometimes it's just personal needs or academic needs. You all literally do everything that our community needs and ask for you. Sometimes I think above and beyond, and we're very, very grateful for that. And again, grateful for this training as well. And this session, this informative session, that because you keep us aware and you keep us informed, so we know, and actually we align ourselves to helping even more. So how can we do it? And this provides information for the rest of the community. And with that said, I just want to thank you so very much for this session. And we did attend that training for the human trafficking, and I believe when we spoke about it, we were in tears as well, because we do need to be informed. Sometimes we don't we only do certain work and that's it. But I'm grateful that we are getting training and getting, you know, other people from our district coming in and sharing what is it that they're doing in the district. And it really opens our eyes to many of the works and duties that are happening throughout our district. And thank you all, you know, as social workers for the district, you do go above and beyond. So thank you with that. Anyone else?
I
She
agree
really
with
does. She
that
puts her
100%.
Miss Barra really puts her life on the line, because I've heard about some dog stories out there.
It's the geese that get me every time. The geese. They hate me.
Superwoman.
Luckily, she has our SRO, Mr. Placencia, to keep her safe.
They stay behind. They stay behind us.
Once the geese come out, okay. Well, okay, so if there aren't any other questions or comments, thank you, Mrs. Parra, and thank you, Mrs. Graves, for this session. Thank you very much, and we can go ahead and move along then to items 8B through E. If anyone has any questions or requires more information, right now is the
Yes,
time.
I do. I'm sorry, Ms. Licon.
Yes, ma'am.
For 8C,
8C.
I just have a comment or a question actually on the homework. Let me turn to that page. Sorry. Okay, so it states about the homework, Dr. Mesa Chavez. I know that it states on here that the educational researcher, Robert Marzano, says that, you know, 10 minutes of homework for each subject, it produces the largest gains in achievement. However, I'm still on the fence with this homework, because if we were back in school, I think that homework is great. But right now with the virtual, do we really think that homework, even 10 minutes a day, because that's like an hour and a half, is feasible? I mean, the kids are already on the computer all day, and then an extra hour and a half for homework.
So with that, I'd like Dr. Segovia, we actually went through a process where this was at the campus level, and I'd like Dr. Segovia to be able to speak to the process that was followed there in terms of work, and then we'll go from there. Dr. Segovia?
Yes, ma'am. Good evening, President Licon, board members, Dr. Mesa Chavez. So we went and did a little bit of homework on this. It used to be a policy a few years back. It used to be a board policy a few years back. However, that changed. That went from a board policy to a regulation, and then to administrative regulation. After that, it went to just expectations. In talking to the policy analyst, she explained that this was changed at the constitution level. So I guess there's been a lot of controversy or discussion about homework. And so what we decided to do is to go back and update our expectations on grading, on reporting grades to parents, and also on homework. So we talked to the principals and we looked at what is the homework policy? Are we seeing an overload of homework being assigned? And so we had some pockets where the answer was yes, and we had some other pockets where the answer is no, we're fine. And so in looking at this, we did some homework, we did some research, we developed this policy, not just on the homework, but the entire document. And it was vetted through the campus principals, and it was vetted through cabinet. We took it to DAT for presentation and input. And now we're informing you all of this. In talking to the principals, they have already presented this information to the teachers. There are some teachers that are used to assigning homework. And so those teachers, we're going to be working with them to get to the point where it's a 10-minute homework per content. Now, can we go back and discuss this? We do have a principals meeting coming up next week. Next week, yes? Can we go back and discuss further to see if we could do a little bit more to ease the homework? We could definitely look at that. I do want to point out that the homework at the homework section, we are telling our teachers not to assign homework on the weekends or holidays, so that it gives the kids a break of homework, and also the teachers, and that's what we talked to the DAT about, because it consists mostly of teachers. We said it gives you, the teacher, a little bit of break of having to collect the homework, and you want to get feedback, right, to the homework. So we did do that. The place where, even if we were to go back to principal's meeting and maybe eliminate the homework policy, the only place where it would be a struggle, or we wouldn't recommend to completely eliminate it, would be in the advanced courses. We do have dual credit. We do have AP classes, pre-AP classes, honors classes. And so those are the courses that, even if we wanted to do a no homework expectation, those sections, I think we do need to continue to have some homework expectation. So the rigor of those classes is a little higher.
Dr. Segovia, this is Garcia. I just have a really quick comment. I know that you said that teachers are not to be assigning homework on weekends or on holidays, but I know for a fact that's not the case. There was several students that received a packet of homework for the entire break of Thanksgiving. And so I was asked that question as well. Why are the students getting a packet from, and I can tell you later in private where the packet came from, but I'm aware that some students got that packet for Thanksgiving holiday. So I agree with Ms. Hernandez that right now it is on the fence about the homework, because in my opinion, my two sons spent, so much time on the computer, and yes, for the AP classes or for the college courses, they have extra homework, which is fine, but to add on to the stress of just sitting in front of a computer for 8-9 hours, is a little bit much, and then to add homework on top of it. But just if we can make sure that across the board, all the principals know that, they're not giving homework for weekends or the holidays, that would be great.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. And just to let you know, this was adopted on November 18th. So I will say we might have, some homework might have slipped and possibly gone home, because it is a new expectation. So we're still presenting. I mean, we have presented it, but we still have some questions. The teachers still kind of getting used to this new expectation as well. But we definitely, the principals are advised of it. They have presented it, and I know they're having, like, I know the high school and the middle school will continue having conversations on that this Friday. But again, we could take it to the principal's meeting and look at it again if that's what needs to happen.
Dr. Segovia, I know that these are the expectations for the homework, and I'm not saying to eliminate homework. I'm just saying that during this time, it's hard enough as it is with virtual learning and students logging into their classes, and then on top of that homework, because I think that the only thing we're going to do with the homework is there are students who log in and there's students who don't log in. And the ones who log in are the ones that are doing their classwork. Eventually are going to end up doing the homework. The ones who don't log in won't do the classwork and won't do the homework. So it's kind of like a punishment, in my eyes, to the students who are already doing their classwork and on top of that homework.
Okay, so we could definitely go back and consider it. Maybe we could make a note, depending on what is considered or direction we want to go. We could make a note that during the COVID situation, we could possibly put a pause on the expectation for homework, but we could definitely discuss it again. I do want to point out, and I thank Ms. Wilkes. She is reminding me that I did ask all principals to send instructional packets home, not necessarily homework, but instructional packets home, because you never know during a break. Last time we left it on, well, not last time, but at least a spring break last semester.
Break.
We left thinking, oh, we're coming back, and guess what? We did not come back, and then we had to do curbside packages, passing out packages. So every time we do have a break, I will let you know. I will be asking the principals to send their, make sure that students have their computers, their devices, and they do have paper packets going home. It's not necessarily homework, but it is paper packets. And I do want to thank Ms. Wilkes for reminding me of that.
Yeah. I was gonna jump in to remind you, but then you were talking, so I was gonna remind you of that. That and also, it could be a student who might have been behind, or, you know, it could have been various reasons, but I know for a fact you had told everybody to send packets just in case.
So
And sorry, Dr. Segovia, go ahead.
I'll let you go.
Okay. If, you know, once you have these discussions with the principals and it's still decided that homework, you know, for 10 minutes, are the teachers gonna hold to those 10 minutes, or how is everybody going to keep it at 10 minutes max?
That's what we're all learning. Again, like I mentioned, this is a new. There's some teachers that do not assign homework. They just don't, for whatever reason, right? The teachers that do assign homework, you have various levels. There are some that do send more homework than needed, and those are the teachers we need to work with, simply because that's been their practice. It's just that's been their practice. So we will have to talk to them. And I know I've had a conversation with all the principals, but I'm talking about maybe two principals that I remember discussing. Well, that group we need to continue to work with, and they already have a strategy on doing that. But if we keep the 10 minutes, we do need to continue working with the teachers and give them suggestions. Remember, it's not about the amount of time kids spend on homework, but it's about the content that they're practicing on, and it can be new learning. So those are the conversations that we'll continue to have to ensure that the teachers get used to, especially if the teacher doesn't decide to, if we do decide to keep this expectation, that they do have an understanding of how much to send, that it would equal about 10 minutes.
Will we know what you all decide?
Yes, ma'am, definitely.
Okay, thank you.
If it'll help to ease some of this also, we also discussed possibly assigning homework by content. Let's say, for example, math, science on Monday, Wednesdays, and English Tuesday, Thursday, you know, something like that, so that when the homework is necessary, it's not all, everybody assigns it on Monday or whatever, you know. So we'll also remind them of something like that for their, that's really just secondary. The elementaries, you know, it's just one teacher, so usually that's not a big problem, but we can definitely address that.
Thank you, Ms. Frescas.
I don't, Ms. Frescas, I just don't like homework at all. So
I'm with you.
Okay.
Okay. Are there any other questions on any of the other items?
No, ma'am.
No? Okay, sir. So we'll go ahead and continue on to then item, thank you, Dr. Segovia. We'll continue on to item 9, next meeting date. Special board meeting, Mission Progressing Together, Tuesday, January 12th, 2020 at 9 a.m. That'll be the Spanish session. Special board meeting.
May I make a correction? May I make a, I'm sorry for the interruption. That's January 12th, 2021.
2021, there you go. Thank you, ma'am. At 9 a.m. in Spanish. Special board meeting, Mission Progressing Together, January 12th, 2021 in English. I don't have a time for that one.
1 p.m.
1 p.m. Thank you. At 1 p.m. And then we have the regular board meeting Wednesday, January 13th, 2021. We have to get used to that at 5:30 p.m. Okay, moving on.
And Mrs. Licon,
yes, ma'am.
Pardon my interruption. And just so you know, we'll be reaching out. I did via email, and we'll follow through with a phone call perhaps tomorrow to identify some dates for a special board meeting. And I sent that in an email this afternoon. So we'll follow up.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. So there'll be one more meeting in between there. So item 10, the adjournment. May I please have a motion to adjourn at 8:05 p.m.?
I move to adjourn.
Okay,
I
that was
second.
Mrs. Hernandez. A motion to adjourn at 8:05, seconded by Ms. Romero. Ms. Garcia, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mrs. Hernandez,
Aye.
Ms. Romero,
Aye.
Ms. Licon, aye. Motion carries. We're adjourned. Please be safe, everyone. Happy holidays. If we don't get to see you all, remain healthy, and we're gonna miss you all. We'll miss you.
Happy holidays to
Happy
everybody.
holidays.
Be
Yes, happy
safe.
holidays.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Happy holidays.
Bye.
Bye.